It destroyed 127 enemy planes and never got spotted once. Back in 1940, Allied leaders had no answer for nighttime bombing attacks. They needed desperately for an aircraft that could hunt in complete darkness, fly faster than enemy planes, and take them down with one shot. What they got was the Northrop P-61 Black Widow, a fighter plane unlike any other ever built. It had special radar built right into its nose, quiet weapons, and a shiny black paint job that made it almost impossible to see under spotlights. But the story behind its perfect winning streak involves emergency innovation, bold engineering choices, and a crisis that changed everything. What made the Black Widow so deadly? Darkness covered Europe like a blanket in 1940. German bombing planes kept attacking through the night, getting past defenses that couldn't fight what they couldn't see. Bright lights searched the skies. Ground guns shot randomly into the dark. But the German Air Force's nighttime strikes hit London and other cities with terrible accuracy. Every attack showed a deadly weakness. The Allies didn't have any fighter that could hunt after sunset. Military leaders watched helplessly as groups of enemy aircraft disappeared into the blackness, free to drop their bombs and fly away without being touched. Fighter planes built for daytime flying became worthless when the sun went down. Pilots had to guess where enemies were, sometimes helped by ground lights or a quick flash from an enemy's engine. But these were last resort tactics. Most pilots never spotted their targets until too late. Losses kept growing, not just planes but innocent people and important buildings. The British tried quickly adding basic radar to regular planes, but these quick fixes were slow and often broke down. News from the fighting got worse and worse. Enemy bombers were breaking through, and nothing the Allies had could stop them in the dark. War planners in London and Washington knew they needed a completely new type of aircraft, one that could see without any light, stay in the air for many hours, and hit hard enough to destroy even the strongest enemy bomber. Time was running out. Each nighttime attack made the problem more serious. The hunt started for a fighter that could change darkness from enemy protection into a deadly trap. Northrop's engineers grabbed the night fighter problem and completely rethought what a warplane could become. The design they created in late 1940 looked nothing like other aircraft in the sky. A twin-tail, three-person machine built for one job only: finding and killing enemy bombers in total darkness. The middle section held the crew. Pilot in front, gunner in back, and a radar operator in his own space facing backward. This setup gave every crew member their own specific job, with the radar operator leading the hunt through a screen that glowed with spooky dots. The aircraft's core was the SER-720 radar system, a 30-inch spinning dish mounted in the nose. This equipment scanned the sky with a focused beam, spotting targets as far as 5 miles away, even in complete blackness or heavy clouds. The radar operator followed enemy aircraft and guided the pilot toward the target, getting within 100 yards before the enemy realized they were being hunted. Red lights inside the cockpit kept night vision sharp, letting the crew stay alert for when radar work turned into shooting. Two Pratt & Whitney R2800 engines provided the muscle, each pumping out around 2,000 horsepower. The P-61 measured almost 50 feet from front to back with a 66-foot wingspan and weighed 29,000 pounds when loaded for battle. Built-in fuel tanks held 646 gallons of gas, enough for long missions over enemy land. Three-wheel landing gear made nighttime landing safer, recognizing the reality of blacked-out airfields. The weapons were just as impressive as the electronics. Four 20mm Hispano cannons lined the bottom, shooting straight forward. On top, a remote-controlled turret held four 50-caliber machine guns. The pilot could lock the turret forward for maximum hitting power or let the gunner rotate it in a full circle, though aiming problems sometimes made crews get creative. Being invisible wasn't just about staying quiet. In October 1943, tests in Florida tried olive green, flat black, and shiny black paint. The answer was obvious. Glossy black made the plane almost impossible for searchlights to find. They missed it 80% of the time. Starting in February 1944, every Black Widow rolled out of the factory in deep black paint, polished to shine like a mirror when possible. The result was a fighter that could sneak past ground defenses and get close without being seen, earning its Black Widow name. By early 1944, Northrop's creation was ready to show itself to the world, and soon after, for real combat testing. Everything was in place for a brand new type of air battle, one fought and won in complete darkness. 1 P-61. Black Widow raced over the Los Angeles Coliseum on January 8, 1944. Down below, 75,000 people filled the stadium for an Army-Navy demonstration. But when the aircraft flew overhead, the crowd could only hear the engine noise. They saw absolutely nothing in the dark sky. The Black Widow's deep black paint job, tested just months before in Florida, made it nearly impossible to spot under bright searchlights, a trick that would soon become standard on every plane built. Just a few months later, the first factory-built P-61s reached England. The 422nd and 425th Night Fighter Squadrons started their missions in May and June 1944, right after D-Day landings. Their job: stop V-1 flying bombs and track down German raiders in the darkness. Flight crews learned fast about their new fighters' strong points and weak spots. The radar could lead them close and the cannons could knock down a buzz bomb. But chasing speedy German twin-engine planes like the Me-410 turned out to be difficult. The Messerschmitt could fly faster than 400 km/h, leaving the Black Widow's top speed behind. Replacement parts became hard to find as the fighting got more intense, and during the Battle of the Bulge, only a few P-61s stayed ready for action. The potential of this new night fighter was obvious, but European battlefields needed more than just stealth and heavy guns. The Black Widow's real test would happen far away from the fighting fields of France. Pacific skies created a completely different set of problems. The distances stretched forever, weather changed without warning, and Japanese bombers usually attacked under thick clouds or on nights with no moon. On remote bases like Morotai and Saipan, Black Widow crews from the 6th, 418th, 419th, and 421st Night Fighter Squadrons became the first real solution to these dangers. The 418th Squadron, based on Morotai, quickly earned respect. They recorded more victories than any other P-61 unit, becoming experts at radar-guided attacks in weather that would have kept other planes on the ground. During one night mission, their crews tracked down and destroyed 3 Ki-61 Tony fighters in just one flight, a success that spread quickly through Allied forces. Patrol flights often lasted for hours over empty ocean. But when enemy aircraft finally showed up, the Black Widow's radar and firepower proved unbeatable. Japanese pilots, used to sneaking past defenses, suddenly found themselves being hunted by a plane they couldn't see until too late. The P-61's arrival in the Pacific didn't just defend bases and bombers, it made the night belong to the Allies, preparing the ground for legends still to come. August 14, 1945, above Yashima, the crew of Lady in the Dark, with Captain Lee Kendall flying and Lieutenant Schur working radar, swept the dark Pacific sky. The war's ending had been announced, but their orders still sent them into the night. Their SCR-720 radar found a single target, a Japanese fighter flying low, scattering metal strips in a frantic effort to escape being followed. Kendall moved closer, following Schur's directions. The Black Widow's engines made barely a sound over the ocean waves below. The enemy pilot, not knowing where the American plane was, turned sharply, trying to disappear into the blackness. Kendall copied every turn, never taking a shot. The chase went lower and tighter, spinning through the thick night air. All at once, the Japanese plane crashed into the ground in a burst of wreckage. No shots fired, no bright tracers, just the constant pressure from an invisible hunter. That night, Lady in the Dark scored the last confirmed air-to-air kill of World War II, a victory won through skill, radar, and the quiet menace of a plane that was never spotted. After the war ended, the Black Widow discovered a new purpose far from battlefields. In 1946, a group of P-61C models gathered at Pine Castle Army Airfield in Florida, ready for a different kind of challenge. Scientists from the Weather Bureau, NACA, the Army Air Forces, and Navy worked together to start Operation Thunderstorm, the first project to fly straight into dangerous storms for science. These aircraft carried special equipment, storm sensors, tracking devices, and cameras to record every bump and movement. Flight crews flew in layers at different heights, 5,000 feet apart, diving into the center of thunderstorms. Over 3 years, they made 1,662 storm flights, gathering information that showed how air currents, downdrafts, and lightning created the life of a thunderstorm. Their discoveries created the foundation for modern weather radar and safer flying, proving the Black Widow's design could handle even nature's most violent storms. The P-61 Black Widow's impact didn't stop with its last combat mission or final storm flight. When the Air Force retired the last Black Widows in 1954, their influence was already built into America's next generation of interceptors. Northrop's F-89 Scorpion, the first U.S. jet designed completely for all-weather defense, borrowed the three-person crew setup and radar-first design ideas that made the P-61 special. The idea of having a dedicated radar operator, once brand new, became normal for Cold War interceptors hunting threats in darkness or clouds. The Black Widow's winning combination of heavy weapons, advanced sensors, and strong airframes moved forward into the jet age, forming the backbone of homeland air defense. Its record, 127 enemy aircraft destroyed, 18 V-1s stopped, set the standard for what a night fighter could accomplish. Even after the last Black Widow left the runway, the blueprint it created guided every American all-weather fighter that came after.